Although George Orwell's predictions for the future arguably failed to come to fruition 33 years ago, the world 1984 portrays is still a haunting one to read about. From the totalitarian government watching over every little thing you do, to the destruction and manipulation of speech and thought, it's an ominous message that in this digital world of ours where nearly everything we say and do goes up for anyone and everyone to see, it feels like it's a message that is all too often forgotten. And it's something that could only work as well as it did because of the setting. It's a world that genuinely chilled me to the bone, and I want to talk about how 1984's world works so well, and why, in my opinion, it is one of the best portrayals of a grim future in the literary world. Today, I want to explain how 1984 builds its dystopia. And yes, spoilers ahead. For anyone who may not know, a dystopia is a fictional state or location, usually set in the future, where everything is bad. Of course, what constitutes bad is a little subjective, but there are two aspects of Orwell's world that are key to making it so eerie. The first of which being that his dystopia is based around a few fundamental fears we have as a society. One of those fears, which is now a bit of a staple for dystopian fiction, is its totalitarian government. This would have been especially nerve-wracking for readers at the time of the book's initial release in 1949, shortly after the end of World War II. The party that rules over Oceania rules with an iron fist. Every move you make is watched by telescreens dotted all over the place, which one can never really know if they are or are not actively watching you, and when they do, they scrutinize every little detail of what you happen to be doing at the time, from your posture to your expression. Even a slight flicker of the eyes could be used by the party as a sign of unorthodoxy. The party has to ensure that its citizens do not act out of line so that it can stay in power, as it seeks power entirely for its own sake. It is the ultimate embodiment of an oppressive authoritarian government, and while nowadays this might seem far-fetched, for the people who've just lived through a war with Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and now have to deal with Soviet Russia, Big Brother would have seemed like a genuine possibility. But another fear that 1984's dystopia is built upon that is a bit more understandable to a modern audience is the destruction of freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom to love who you love because you love them, all decimated under Big Brother's reign. Negative criticism to the party, while technically not illegal, is punishable by death. And Big Brother looks to be trying to limit human thought as well, as explained by Sim. Don't you see that the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible, because there will be no words in which to express it. The party does not want people to be able to think for themselves, because they might end up turning against the party. Even Sim himself, for as much of a party fanatic as he is, still gets vaporized, simply for the fact that he is just too intelligent for the party's liking. They even go as far as to limit people's freedom in personal relationships. Through the Junior Anti-Sex League, they demonize sex, making people see it as a chore or an inconvenient surgery. Couples aren't even allowed to get married if the party has the slightest inkling that they might have a physical attraction for one another. And the children they have are actively encouraged to rat out their parents if they think they're acting suspicious. By doing this, they ensure that people's loyalty and love does not go to their spouses or their family. They make sure that they only have loyalty to the party and only have a love of Big Brother. And what's worse is what happens if you happen to break any of Big Brother's many strict rules. They use rumors of a secret brotherhood looking to overthrow Big Brother to unearth anybody who could be an enemy of the state, such as Winston and Julia. From there, they don't just beat you, they break you, mentally and emotionally. In Winston's case, this was by slowly convincing him that he was insane, by making him believe he couldn't trust his own eyes or his own memories, by making him believe that 2 + 2 = 5, not 4. And in the end, they made him do the one thing that he despised, that he hated above all else and would rather have died before doing. They made him love Big Brother, just like the rest of the brainwashed masses. They don't kill you physically, because to them, that just doesn't do the job. They kill you mentally. Big Brother strips its citizens of the ability to think for themselves and live their own lives, the idea of which alone is terrifying. But this wouldn't be so bad if Big Brother's reign would one day come to an end, which brings me to the second aspect of 1984's dystopia that I think makes it work so well, the sense that this dystopia will never end. The party does its best to ensure that no one will rise against them, not only with its strict laws and regulations, but also by manipulating the past to suit its own narrative. It constantly changes and updates all forms of literature and print when things change or people get vaporized, leaving no stone unturned in the process. It makes sure that no one has any physical proof that the party is wrong. The only thing that people have to say otherwise is their own memory. But with the extreme forms of torture the party implements, they can very easily be convinced that they're simply insane. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Even the war that acts as background noise to this book is one that doesn't seem to have an end anywhere near in sight. The three superpowers who fight it are simply too evenly matched for it to reach a conclusion. Oceania is surrounded on all sides by water. Eurasia's territories are too vast and wide to truly conquer. And East Asia's armies are too efficient and industrious to overthrow. It is a war that no state can win, and yet it's a war that needs to be won. And so every superpower is going to do its absolute damnedest to be the victor. Many dystopian worlds always have the sense that they will eventually pass, that this is just a bump in the road for humanity, that we will get past it if we just push through or fight to overcome it. 1984 doesn't have this feeling, quite the opposite in fact. It feels as if Big Brother will always be in control. 1984 is one of the most well-crafted dystopias I have ever experienced. By basing it on some of society's most basic fears and making it feel as though it will never end, it creates a terrifying world that we can only hope never comes to fruition, and helps to emphasize Orwell's allegorical warning for future generations very well. Beware Big Brother. And yeah, those are my thoughts. This video was fun to do. I've always been meaning to read 1984, but I just never got around to it till now. I got the physical book and everything, and then I ended up listening to an audiobook online, so that was a wise investment. It might seem weird for me to do a video about a book after focusing mostly on like games and movies and stuff, but it's just a really fascinating book. And if like me, you're interested in it and maybe want to learn more, I'll leave a few links for some pretty good videos on it in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, then check out my last video where I just kind of give some advice about exam anxiety, and then be sure to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to come fly with me. And hopefully, I'll see you later.